What is up, my peeps? Joshua Smith here at GSD Studios. First off, I want to thank you for watching the show. I truly appreciate your support. I know it's annoying, but please listen to the entire intro before the podcast begins, as I really need your help. So before we jump in, just a few quick favors, you guys. Number one, please share the show with anyone you feel that will benefit. This truly helps grow the show and has a massive impact on many lives. So please go out there, share the show. Sharing is caring, right? Number two, if you have not already, make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Please leave a 5-star review on iTunes and in Stitcher, again, if you have not done so already. Number three, make sure that you join the private GSD Mode Facebook Mastermind group. If you go to www.gsdmode.com, you'll see a button right there on the home page that you can click and request to be added to that group right away. And lastly, I want to give our sponsors a quick shout out that make this show entirely possible. Our first sponsor is my personal 90-day mastery bootcamp. This is my personal mentorship training program where I give you everything that I do inside my business. You get my entire playbook, you guys. We have 12 live 3+ hour long sessions. Each session we go so in depth on exactly what I do inside my real estate team and how I operate my business. Plus, there's a lot of different bonus sessions. You get access to everything I do inside my business on my tracking forms, presentations, checklists, lead generation tactics, lead follow-up tactics, team contracts, and much more. There's absolutely nothing that I withhold from you that you don't get access to. Plus, you get daily access to me inside the group. So this is hands down the most effective and affordable real estate training program on the planet. Check us out, www.90daymastery.com, or click the link below to learn more about that. If you do join, make sure to plug in promo code Live Mastery. That's all caps, all one word, all together, which will save you $500. Make the whole entire program like $997, or 3 payments of $333. Our next sponsor number 2, is PerfectStormNow.com. This is an insanely effective lead generation website for realtors, and now offers not just the front end website, but a website and CRM combo with all my personal written follow-up drips and scripts. And some of these, you guys, go out 1,000+ days. We made it where it's 100% dummy proof. And this system, you guys, competes with $1,000+ month systems that exist in the industry, and it's only $199 per month. So make sure to check us out, www.perfectstormnow.com, where you can check out in-depth demos, client testimonials, more info, all that fun stuff. Our third sponsor is EMF. I'm really excited about this one. This is Optimized Life Nutrition's newest supplement, newest nootropic. It's by far the most powerful nootropic on the planet. EMF stands for Energy, Memory, Focus. If you're like me and you want to have insane energy, improved memory, extreme, intense, focused, this is the best product, you guys, that money can buy. I take it every single day, and the results are insane. Improved energy, improved focus, improved mood, awareness, and we've even had many clients tell us to improve sex, dude. So it's just this crazy, insane, overall life-enhancing product. So check that out at www.optimizedlifenutrition.com. Lastly, if you want to be like me and the crew here at GSD Studios, kicking ass every single day, highly recommend that you rock your GSD gear here on the website, www.gsdmode.com. Snag your shirts. We have women's shirts, men's shirts. I got some hats, and we got a lot more apparel on the way. So that's all I got for you guys. Hope you enjoy the show, and we will talk to you soon. What is up, my peeps? Joshua Smith here with another GSD Mode interview. Every single week, we interview top entrepreneurs, top realtors, and just straight up top badasses that are out there dominating their space. These are people choosing to not live a life of mediocrity, but instead to go out there and create big, amazing, epic lives for themselves, for their families, as well as have a positive impact on everybody else while they exist in this one life. And that's why they agreed to come on the show, to go out there and just drop some of that knowledge and have that positive impact on our listeners. So on Today, you guys, we got a special guest on the show. Our guest is Christian Stone. So Christian Stone's a realtor, real estate agent, team leader in Southern California. In the past 24 months, him and his team have sold over 85 homes. They really pride themselves on deep level customer service, getting to know their clients, getting to know what their needs are, their expectations are. But he does a really brilliant job in their team of integrating in technology, automating the process, not to replace the human connection, but to really further and improve the experience, which I think is really important. So really stoked and honored to have Christian on the show, my friend.
What's up? Excited to be here. Kind of nervous. Haven't done a podcast like this in a long time, but I'm here and I'm ready.
Yeah, no, I love it, man. I appreciate you being here, dude. So, as always, I'm always curious with our guests, a journey that led them to entrepreneurship. Because obviously you're a very successful entrepreneur right now. You're doing a lot of big things now. But like, what led you on this path? Like, if you're rewinding the clocks, whether that's high school, whatever that is, like, what led you down the entrepreneur path in the first place?
Oh gosh, that's a good question. I mean, for me, it's really simple. I don't like having a boss.
Yep.
I like kind of doing my own thing and figuring it out on my own. I learned that as a kid, maybe started to realize it 16 to 18 years old. Kind of had some struggles, difficulties in school and training, things like that for what I was going through. Before I did real estate, I was in the medical field, did my EMT stuff, was going to go to nursing school, working at a hospital, and just having a ton of different bosses there made me realize like, I can't do this boss thing, having somebody in charge.
Yeah, love it, dude. So then how did you, which is kind of crazy because I was on a similar path, man. I went to college for a year and then I dropped out, or like 18 months. But while I was in college, I was a nurse's aide at a hospital in Michigan. And I was applying for nursing school, but they're like, it's a 2-year waiting list. I'm like, I wasn't patient enough, and I thank God every single day I didn't go that path. And then I chose sales that led me to real estate, just briefly after that. So how do you though go from, because that's two totally different things. You're an EMT
right,
looking to go to nursing school, and then all of a sudden, boom, yeah, you don't like a boss, but now you're choosing real estate. Like how did that happen, dude?
It's funny. It happened because I purchased my first house at kind of the bottom of our market, which was like 2011, 2012. So I purchased it really cheap. So quickly within a year and a half, I was able to sell it. And I had called the same agent that sold me the house. And when he was there taking pictures of my house on the side, one thing I was doing was I would always buy a truck and I would have that truck, I'd lift it, tires, wheels, stereo, and then I would always sell it for more money. So I was kind of, in a sense, flipping trucks.
Yeah.
And it's funny because while he was there, he was taking pictures of my house and I was selling one of my trucks. And he just picked up on, wow, you're really good at that, selling that truck. He's like, have you ever thought about real estate? I'm like, no way, man. I'm going to nursing school. I'm going to make a ton of money as a nurse. They're making like 120 grand a year. I thought that was like killer money, And it really went from just that one conversation. I was like, wow, I remember Googling how much does a real estate agent make? And it was like $34,000 a year. I'm like, I would never want to be a real estate agent. So after looking it up, going more in depth into learning about being a real estate agent, I discovered, wow, this is definitely for me. Literally the income is limitless. You can make as much money as you want to make.
Yep. Love it, man. Couldn't agree more, dude. And all right, so I know you're doing, and we kind of talk about this briefly off air before we hit the record button, but you're closing a lot of homes now, and a lot of realtors. I know for me, as an example, when I first got licensed, I'd see a lot of these top producers, and they just didn't seem even human to me. I'm like, dude, they got these like, this special like innate ability or sales ability like that I don't have, whatever. And then over time you realize that that's not the case. It was just a limiting belief.
Right.
But a lot of people, when they see the production you're doing now, but I know it wasn't always here, right? So
Right.
When you first got started, the statistic is 90% of realtors drop out in the first 3 years. Your first year realtor on average makes like 10 grand. It's a struggle. So before we get into what you're doing today that's making you so successful, what was that like first year like? Like how did you go out there and create success so you didn't become a statistic and having to just drop out of the industry?
So the first year, actually, my first deal came from telling people that I got my real estate license when I was still working at the hospital. So I was working at Hemet Hospital in Hemet, California, and my first deal came from that. And my agent at the time kind of became my mentor my first year. So he told me, "Hey, look, you need to go to a Mike Ferry conference." And he's a real estate coach. You probably know who Mike Ferry is.
Yep.
And I was like, okay, cool. I went to this conference, and have you been to one of those?
I've never been to Mike Ferry's. I mean, I've watched a lot of his data, right? I mean, he's got some
Okay.
brilliant stuff out there, but I haven't been to a conference.
I went to it and I came back like, wow, all I have to do is door knock houses around any listing or buyer that I can get, and then call the neighborhood, and I could be a multimillionaire. So that was kind of my mindset. My first couple months was, all right, do this. And I actually did it. I printed flyers and I went and door knocked around that listing I had gotten from the hospital. And like literally, I think it was 6 or 7 houses down, they said, yeah, we do want to sell our house. And I ended up taking that listing. And then from there, it was just like, wow. And both of those listings sold within 2 or 3 days. So I'm looking at, the escrow paper, like, whoa, this is what I would make off those 2 listings is what I would make for 6 or 7 months at the hospital. So I was like, okay, if I'm going to make this amount of money here, I need to do 10 of these a month in order to quit the hospital. So that was like my goal. It was like, all right, if I can get 10 of these racked up this month, I would do it. And that's what I did, man. I locked myself and I had a spare guest room at my house. I literally locked myself in there. I was on the phone for 6 or 7 hours a day, just cold calling neighborhoods for sale by owners, expired listings, setting any listing appointment I can go on, and just trying to talk to as much people as I can. And my first year, I ended up selling 29 houses. My first year in real estate, first 12 months.
Yeah, which is almost unheard of, and you're
Right.
where you're at too. I mean, it's a decent price point, right? You might
Right.
hear people in other areas of the country, and their average price point's like 125, and they have to do a lot of
Right.
units. But at that, I mean, it's a lot of homes, a lot of production, a lot of money, dude. So, did you keep that strategy for that first year? I mean, did that account for all 29 deals?
That strategy, I believe my first year breakdown was about, I had like, I think 5 or 6 referrals. So yeah, my first year was almost all new business, was expireds, for sale by owners, and then just door knocking, just listed, just solds.
So, and they were all. I mean, are you at that point? So you went to the Mike Ferry seminar or
Yep.
conference. Are you just to a T his scripts? Can you kind of give us an example of like what you would do with the circle prospecting, what you would do with an expired?
Yeah.
What that looked like?
So every time, even still to this day, what we do now, it's there's more stuff I guess we can get to a little bit later on what we do now. But what I would do my first year is I would just literally print a flyer, a little cheesy one too, that just had it's so easy, just a picture of the house, a picture of me, my cell phone number, a little description. Hey, we just listed your neighbor's house. We're wondering, one, if you know anybody wanting to move into the neighborhood, or two, if you're thinking about selling your house, because we'd love to tell you what your home's also worth in this market. And it's basically, that's what my flyer would say, and that's exactly what my script would be at the door. So it would just, it's a numbers game, So to me, it was okay. I just got to hustle, hustle, hustle. Like my trucks, the faster I could buy a truck, get a lift kit on it, tires, wheels, everything else, sell it, the faster I would get paid. So I just did that same thing in real estate.
Yeah, so you mentioned that you'd lock yourself in the room and just calling. So that strategy is door knocking. Did you, because a lot of people aren't home, whatever. I mean, did you mix it? Was it kind of a door knocking mixed with hitting the phone, circle prospecting, those same homeowner strategy?
Yeah. So what it would be I would call. So from 9 till about 12 o'clock till about 1 o'clock when I had lunch, would be on the phones. That's when I'd be locked in my room. And then typically at that point I had a bunch of listings. So about 1 to 2:30, 3 o'clock would be dealing with the listings, the sellers, administration, selling the house. And then about 3 to 6 p.m. would be when I would hit the doors. So my cold calling was a lot more focused towards listings that hadn't sold, so expired listings. And then for sale by owners, which I would find on Craigslist, Zillow, all the real estate websites.
Yeah. Well, and then the cool thing too, like I said, I've never personally coached with Mike Ferry. I have is with his son Tom, but not Mike. But what I love about Mike, dude, is he gives everything online for free. Like you can just go type Mike Ferry expired script, and boom, you've got everything. Right?
Yep.
So it's not
Yep.
like it's a secret. So those of you that watch and listen, if you want to try those scripts, you can go online and get all of those scripts. they're all available out there. So, all right. So, dude, you have an epic first year. I mean, does it continue at that growth pace though? Or because we see a lot of realtors that might come out of the gate doing well, but then they get kind of comfortable, stop doing the things that made them successful. I mean, did you just continue with that path, or kind of walk us through the next few years?
Yeah. So I don't know if I lost you.
No, we're good. Yeah, you just froze for a
It took
second.
me about I believe 3 months until I actually quit with the hospital. I had like 5 or 6 in escrow, and I'm like, all right, I'm done. I ended up having like an $8,000 credit card. I'm like, okay, I'm done here. I'll put the rest of the bills on the credit card, and I'm just gonna. It honestly made me hustle more because that scarcity, right? I was scared. I was 22 years old, and I had a mortgage payment. I'm married, and that's scary. No more paycheck anymore. So I had to hustle. So I went to more Mike Ferry events, started talking to more entrepreneurs, people doing the same thing, listening to podcasts, what else I could do to build my business. My second year, I kind of decided, all right, it was time. My mentor became my full-time partner. We're no longer partners anymore, but he became my partner that second year. And we just did the same exact thing, but just ramped it up. So we just went crazy with it. He was doing kind of all the background stuff, right? So all the contracts, paperwork, administrative stuff. And I was just on the phone every morning from 9 to 12, and then door knocking every day from 2 to 5, going on listing appointments after 5 o'clock.
Yeah, and I think that's important to those that are watching and listening. I mean, just break that down. I mean, that's 6 hours a day of lead gen, prospecting, whatever you want to call it, right? I mean, most people, you're lucky to get an hour out of them, and they wonder why they're not generating appointments. So I mean, you're 6 hours a day of prospecting. Is that 5 days a week, 6 days a week, 7 days a week?
It was 4 days a week. I actually got myself my second year to the point where I only had to do that 4 days a week. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I was taking off,
Yeah.
But it's because I feel like so many people want that, but they're not willing to work that 4 days.
Right.
It's because those 4 days are like, up at 4:30 in the morning and literally working till 8 or 9 o'clock till I'm going to sleep.
Yeah.
Return calls at 9 o'clock at night.
But that was your second year, right? I mean, your first year, you weren't taking that time off. What would that first year look like?
Gosh, first year was 7 days a week, man. Just grind, hustle. Whatever I could do. On the weekends, I would sit open houses on Saturdays and Sundays. All of my, if you're actually prospecting religiously for 4 to 6 hours a day, you're going to have a ton of leads. These. And they'll get leads. They have a ton of leads. So we'd sit open houses on the days and prospect from those open houses even more.
Yeah, no, I love that. And the reason that I just kind of wanted to hit and touch on that, dude, is just to give people the I guess a true picture of what it takes to go out there and create that kind of success. Like you said, a lot of people say they want it, but they're not willing to do that. I mean, outside of you, I've only probably met, a dozen realtors that have really went out there and kind of put that type of insane hustle. And of course, they're all extremely successful now,
Right.
But you're talking 6 hours a day for 7 days a week. Yeah. So like you said, okay, your second year now you're taking off 3 days a week. Yeah, dude. Well, you did the amount of work that most realtors, it takes them over a decade to do. You did that in 1 year. So then, okay, so I know you had your partner, and I don't want to go into personal stuff there with that, and I'll respect that. But I know today you have a team, right? So you have an admin, and you haven't really been in business that long. I mean, your business career has been, because how long's it been? You said you got into what, 2011, 2012?
2014. So last year was my third year in the business. I'm working on my fourth year right now.
That's insane, dude. That's insane. Yeah. That's awesome, man. Congrats, bro. So, so at what point do you decide then, okay, I'm going to go start delegating out some of these tasks and actually start a team? I mean, what was going on? At what point did you decide to do that?
So this is a huge thing. I get a lot of conflict over that question, because for me, it was my first year. I sold 29 houses. Second year, 47. Third year was my last year, 2016, closed 58. And this year we're on track for 110. So you can see it's huge growth since I've been an agent. So I decided to start a team when I had too much business for myself and my clients were lacking the customer service that they deserved. So that's when I said, okay, it's time to start a team. What I'm seeing a lot in real estate now is these people get their license and they're like, oh, I need to start a team. All right, I got my license. Got to start buying $50,000 a month worth of leads and hire 10 buyers agents. And I got myself a crazy successful team. And to me, it was never like that. It was the only reason you need a team in real estate is when you have too much business. That's my thinking of a team. I don't think you can. You definitely can build a team with buying leads, buying marketing, things like this, but it's just expensive. I don't like spending all that money I'm working so hard for, you know?
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more, man. You start a team. I mean, I get the desire, the want to have a team, but you always start out of necessity, not out of want. So what? Give us a breakdown. What does your team look like today?
So my team is a full-time admin, so full-time basically assistant that does all the background stuff, full-time transaction coordinator that does all of the paperwork and watches the files, and then one full-time buyer's agent and one part-time buyer's agent.
Yeah. So then your role at this point is you're probably still the rainmaker. You're probably still generating all those listing leads, and you're still taking all the listing appointments personally. And then they essentially, are you working with buyers at all, or are they basically just taking all the sign calls, all the buyer leads that come in?
Yeah. So my goal is to work with 0 buyers. I still work with friends and family. So it's really hard to turn down your friends and family that are buying a house, close friends. But as far as my sign calls go, all the buyers we get off marketing, everything, it goes 100% to my buyer's agents, and I do all the listings on the team.
Yeah, man, love it, dude. So, all right, so you're in a space, or just like a lot of places right now that are across the country that are in these extreme seller markets, and it's been this way for a while. But very low inventory. You put a sign in the ground, the house is gone. It's difficult to go out there and get listings and all of that. But you're doubling essentially your business from last year in the extreme sellers market and taking a lot of listings still today. Like how are you doing that, dude? Because most people are just like, man, I can't get a listing to save my life.
Yeah. So, well, this month, let's see, this month ends tomorrow. Our goal for this month was 13. We just took our 10th listing this morning, right before the interview. So it's one of our biggest listing months, pretty much the past year and a half. And it set us up for 15 closings for next month. So it's huge months, right? So what I'm kind of started dabbling in a little bit this year was spending some money. My whole real estate career so far, I haven't spent any of my profits on marketing, building a brand, things like that. So towards the end of last year, I started building a brand around the team. So Stone and Associates started becoming a brand, t-shirts, hats, koozies, things like that, and just started spending a little bit more money on marketing. So now, like, when we take a listing, we immediately mail the whole entire neighborhood, 400 people. Okay. And then right when we mail them, either before we get the listing active or right when it hits active, we door knock those same 400 people, and then we call those same 400 people. And we do the same exact thing once we get an offer and it gets into escrow, and we do the same exact thing again once it's sold and closed escrow. So, that's kind of expensive with the mailings and the flyers for the door knocking and all of that, but that is bringing us every time another listing in that neighborhood.
So when you do, and we'll kind of break these down of what each looks like. It's because I love it, man. You're leveraging each listing multiple times. So before you list with that 400, let's start with the postcard. Those 400 pieces you're sending out. Is it just kind of like your old original flyer, dude, that you'd send out with picture of you? What does that look like today?
Oh, it's like a full company does it. It's high definition, super glossy. It has, all of our listings get professional photography, so it's got really nice photos on it. We have a really nice team picture, and then it just says, it kind of says the same thing. Your neighbor just listed their home. We're wondering if you're looking for somebody in the area, or if you know somebody in the area that wants to move into the area, or if you possibly want to sell your home, please reach out. And it has like one of those QR scanner things. It's pretty simple flyer, but it's just it's definitely nice looking. And I learned real fast that your flyers, if you're going to spend the money, you have to send out the nice ones. Yep. You can't send out the cheap ones, black and white. If you're going to do flyers, you got to go all in. So they got to look nice. And then the same thing with our door knocking flyers. They look really nice now too. and they pretty much say the same exact thing. It's still the same script, and it's still the same script on the phone.
Yeah. So the mailer though, is that I mean, that's an actual direct mail piece postcard, correct?
Yeah, the company is Quantum Digital, and
Okay.
they actually send it out. You build it online for their listing. So my assistant builds it online, and then she just puts in the little farm area. They have a little tool. You select the neighborhood and just click send.
Yeah, love it, man. So many people have this massive call reluctance and door knocking reluctance, and I think a lot of times it's because we make up these stories in our head of how bad it's going to go. Like, oh, this person's going to ring me, or they're going to, challenge me at their door, or whatever. I don't know if you've had any, I guess there's always exceptions to rules. We maybe have some crazy experiences, but a lot of those just become stories that we have in our head, and it's really never as bad as we make them out to be. So kind of dispel some of those with you hitting so many, because at this, I'm guessing, I'm here thousands and thousands and thousands of doors a year that you're at. Kind of walk us through, like what's, I know you've shared with your script, but what is that, what is it like at the door, dude?
So, okay. I mean, I got a perfect one for you that I think the viewers will like too, because I always answer that question with, obviously we're going to sit on a mountain of no's to get one yes, right? But I was actually door knocking. This was not even maybe 3 or 4 months ago. And I had a friend of mine who's an agent was door knocking across the street. That always makes it easier if you go with another agent and you just tag team, you just work across the street from each other. That way you can just throw rocks at each other when you're, going down the houses. But I had one guy, and it was an next door neighbor to the house that I listed, said, I would never list with somebody that's knocking on my door. And he literally slammed his door, and it was probably like, I was up on his thing. It was probably like 4 inches from my face. Totally chewed me out, right? I literally go to the next door neighbor, and they said, how did you know we want to list our house? And when I knocked on the door, and I said, oh, I didn't. We listed a house around the corner. So I'm just letting all the neighbors know we listed the house. Seeing if you have a friend who wants to move in the area, do you guys want to sell your home? And they're like, yeah, we're thinking about selling our house next month. I said, great, let's set an appointment. I can come over, tour your house, kind of show you guys what it's worth compared to your neighbors. They said, okay, great. What's a good time for you? We set an appointment. I ended up listing that house.
Yeah.
And that was literally the next door neighbor to the guy who just gave me a hardcore chewing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I always tell people, like, if somebody's going to ream the shit out of you on the phone or at the door, if somebody gets that angry over something that small, it's not a client that you want anyway. Right?
Yeah, you wouldn't even want to work with them.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you break down the percentages just to give kind of everybody an idea of? I know you said you're sitting on a mountain of no's to equal yes. I mean, what does it look like? And I don't know if you track it or differentiate it from door knocking compared to the phone calls, or if you just group it together. But on average, I mean, what does that rejection look like to get that yes?
So what we do is we're crazy about tracking our numbers because our numbers tell us our business, right? The person who owns, McDonald's, I'm sure that they know their numbers, or somebody below them knows their numbers on how their business is doing, right? So I run my real estate as a business now. We have to learn to run it as a business, or it won't ever blow up like we all want it to. So yeah, we track our numbers to the T. My contact goal every day is 45 contacts. So I have to talk to 45 people about buying or selling real estate every day, Monday, Thursday, and Friday. So I work a full 3 days now of prospecting. And we just ran this too.
Well, I mean, that generated 10 listings this month so far, right? So.
Yeah. See, it's for every 87 contacts I make, I will get 1 listing. That's where our numbers are at as of this first quarter. We literally, because we're done with the first quarter, we just had our first quarter meeting this morning. And then it's let's see, I'm at a 64% listing to listing taken ratio.
Yeah, love it. So that 87
I'll get 6 of them.
Okay, cool. So that 87 contacts to 1 listing.
I froze.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, man. It could be on my end, dude. So the 87 contacts to 1 listing, is that 1 listing appointment, and then the 60, that's when it froze when you gave that percentage, or is that actually one actual taken listing?
So the 87 is for 1 listing appointment.
Okay.
So basically what my goal is to get a listing appointment every single day. whether it be from door knocking or cold calling or calling Sphere Now and referrals. And then, so one a day basically would give me 5, and then we want to take 2 to 3 of those a week.
Perfect, man. Then what do you do with the because like if they don't answer their door when you're door knocking, do you just leave the flyer in the door and then they're still getting the call from you? And then same thing on the calls, dude. Do you leave voicemails? And if so, is it just the same script on the voicemail?
Correct. Yeah. So it's the same exact thing. We actually use a system now that's a dialer. So it just keeps dialing. So you put on a headset, right? And you just keep dialing. And it leaves a voicemail automatically if they don't answer. And depending on what we're calling, expireds, for sale by owners, or just listed, just sold, that will be what the voicemail's played to. And then when we're door knocking, it's a nice, really glossy flyer that we leave behind.
Yep, love it, man. So what do you use, like Mojo?
I use one called Arch Agent.
Okay.
Mojo's a great dialer. To me, I like to keep everything as simple as I can. So Arch Agent is just a single line dialer. It literally says, did they answer or not answer? Did it leave a voicemail? Call notes. That's all it says. Because this business, I feel like we try and make it, we got to have these crazy CRMs. We got to have these crazy dialers. It dials 20 lines at once and all this crap. But it's really, we don't. We just need to talk to people about buying or selling real estate. That's really what we need to do every day on a daily basis. The key is doing it.
Time out. Joshua Smith here at GSD Studios. I need to take a quick pause to give our sponsors a quick shout out that make all this possible. Our first sponsor is my personal 90-day mastery bootcamp. This is my personal mentorship training program where I give you everything I do inside my business. You get my entire playbook. We have 12 live 3+ hour long sessions. In addition to a ton of different bonus content, you get daily access to me. There's nothing I withhold from you guys inside this program. You get my entire playbook that's helped me sell thousands and thousands and thousands of homes. You get all my tracking forms, presentations, scripts, checklists, team contracts. There's nothing you don't get access to. This is hands down the most effective and affordable real estate training program on the planet. So make sure you check us out at www.90daymastery.com. You can check out bootcamp dates. You can check out testimonials, more in-depth information. If you decide to register, make sure to enter live mastery, all caps, all one word, all together. That'll save you 500 bones. So you can get the whole entire program for only $997 or 3 payments of $333. Our next sponsor is PerfectStormNow.com. PerfectStormNow.com is an insanely effective lead generation website for realtors and now offers a website and CRM combo with all my custom personal follow-up drips inside there, some of which go out 1,000 plus days. We've made it where this is dummy proof, you guys. Any type of a lead generation tactic you can think of, from expireds, FSBO, sign calls, open houses, past clients, everything is in there. It's a plug and play system. And this system really is as powerful, if not more powerful in my opinion. I'm a little biased, but as powerful as the $1,000 a month programs out there, and it's only $199 per month. So again, check us out, www.perfectstormnow.com. Our third sponsor is EMF. Optimized Life Nutrition has created the most powerful nootropic on the planet called EMF. EMF stands for Energy, Memory, Focus. So if you're like me and you want to have insane energy, improved memory, and extreme intense focus, this is the best product money can buy. I take it every single day and the results are insane. I've massively improved energy, memory, focus, mood, awareness, and like you've heard me say in the past, we've had clients that even say it enhances sex. We've had talked to people that have reduced anxiety. The supplement is insane. Check us out. Learn more at www.optimizedlifenutrition.com. Lastly, if you're like myself and our whole entire crew here at GSD Studios and my real estate team, make sure you check out our apparel line, right? We got t-shirts, men's t-shirts, women's t-shirts. We got our hat line that if you're watching this might be available at this point. The hats are in production right now. We're going to be adding a lot of different apparel. So make sure to check that out. And then also, if you're not already, make sure to jump into the GSD Mode Facebook private group. For example, inside there, you guys, we post all of our interviews to make sure that you're not missing out on any interviews. We're going to be doing some votes for future apparel, some Facebook Live stuff. So it's a free private mastermind that you can jump in to go out there, learn, grow, and continue kicking ass and succeeding. All right, that's enough of the interruptions. Let's get back to the show. Yeah. No, I agree, dude. And the issue with the triple dialer like Mojo, yeah, in theory it sounds good, and I'm not saying it's not effective, but people
Right.
can tell on the other end that it's essentially a telemarketer, right? The transfers,
Right.
I mean, they know what's up on that other end. They've experienced it enough, so and it definitely comes across that way, right? So they get that. So then with all this
Yeah.
going on, and real quick, let me just kind of take a step back, and I love that you brought up tracking, and just for those of you watching and listening about this, I mean, you want to track your numbers, of course, to know your numbers. I mean, it's the only way to make your business predictable. The path is in the math, but now,
Right.
because Christian, I mean, you can only do so many. So at some point, as you hire other listing agents, right now you know what their expectations of their numbers are, and then
Right.
because it's not always one of these things where if they're not hitting their numbers, I want to fire them. Well, if they're not hitting their numbers or if they're falling short, but they're doing the work, now I know where I need to coach them, right, too, and level that up. So I love that you brought that up, man.
Numbers for us, it's huge because like we just had our quarterly meeting with my team and we're looking, it's like, okay, so you guys did really good this solid 2 weeks, 14 days, and you got 2 or 3 into escrow. What were you doing? So we can go back and look, oh, well, hey, look, every day you made 20 contacts on this day, 20 contacts on that day, 20 contacts. But then the next 2 weeks, you only made 5, 8, 3, but you didn't put anything to escrow. So they can see the direct correlation to, wow, when I was working that week and making the contacts, I was putting things into escrow. So it's black and white right there. It's black and white. I know that if I make 45 contacts a day, I will get one listing appointment. I know that it's 100% predictable business. So if I take it and times that by 2 and I say, okay, I'm going to sit in my office for 6 hours and call and make 90 contacts, I will get 2 listing appointments.
Yeah.
So that's like I said, it's all about how much now that I want to work and how much I want to grow and learn as a person. The business is infinite.
Yep. No, I couldn't agree more, man. Like Ryan Blair in his book "Nothing to Lose, Everything to Gain." He's one of my favorite serial entrepreneurs to study. In there, he talks about he's got the saying, "The path is all in the math," and he's got a huge sign. He's a CEO of Icesalis that does like $1 billion a year in sales, and that's right above
Nice.
his office. And it's so true, man. I can't tell you how often. I mean, almost daily, I'll get an agent that'll call me and say, "Hey, I need your help." 2 years ago I made 250 grand. Then I got kind of comfortable, and I haven't been able to get it back. I'm like, well, what'd you do to make the 250? And they have no idea, and they're never able to go out there and duplicate that same success or go out there and expand and grow. It's a thing that I think a lot of salespeople don't like doing. It's a bitch filling in spreadsheets, but man, it's so critical because that's where it happens, dude. So then with that being said, man, are your agents at all? Are they out door knocking and prospecting with you as buyer agents, or are they essentially just taking the sign calls, taking the buyers that you have, you just haven't focused on that, and you're fully focused on getting the listings at this point?
Yeah. So my full-time buyer's agent, the one that's full-time 100% an agent, she is 100% buyers. So she's not doing numbers as far as door knocking or cold calling, but she does door knock the neighborhood for her open houses, and she does call the neighborhood for her open houses. So it's a form of prospecting, but for buyers
Yeah.
instead of listings.
Yeah.
And she does track her numbers. And then my guy that's part-time, he likes listings a lot more. So I think eventually he'll become like the number one listing agent for the team out of us. I can kind of pull back a little bit and worry about training them more. And he's starting to track his numbers and prospects every morning, calls expireds, calls for sale by owners, things like that. He just joined December of last year.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I love it. So I know in the beginning you kind of talked about also doing expireds, other things of that. I mean, because it sounds like you're having so much success with this. I mean, is this kind of the singular focus, or are you still hitting expireds as well?
No, yeah, definitely. We still call expireds for sale by owners every single morning.
Do you
We're
do a
actually
similar plan, like a mailer call door knock?
No, this whole past year is I kind of honestly 2016 faded away from the expireds and for sale by owners and focused on just listed, just sold, and referrals. And now I'm looking, and it's like I looked, and that business grew, but then the expireds for sale by owners shrunk, right? So I have a full-time coach now, and we're looking at it like, okay, keep doing the same thing this year, 2017, with just listed, just sold, but add back in the expired for sale by owners, more of it, right? So we call them every single morning, all the new ones. And then my goal is to door knock 10 to 20 a week expired listings and for sale by owners.
So then, when you're calling, I mean, if you don't mind, it sounds like you're a pretty transparent
100%.
cat. So,
Yeah.
give us an idea of what those scripts are, and then what you're delivering door knocking, because expires and FISBOs are Yeah, I mean, they both are homeowners that have a goal of selling, but they're kind of two different breeds as well.
Right, right. So I mean, calling an expired listing, when we're on the phone, we just call them and say, "Hey, this is Christian Stone. I'm actually calling about your house that was on the market. Are you guys still thinking about selling it?" And they either, typically it's no. Why are you calling? How did you get my number? But obviously, some of them do answer yes. We're still going to sell it, but here's the reason. We go from there. So we have different handlers that we could take for each reason. But typically it's, I'm going to wait till the summer right now is what we're hearing. I'm going to wait till my son or daughter is out of high school, and we're going to put it back on the market. So I say, hey, great. If I could get you guys in the next 30 days, it looks like you were asking 350,000. If you guys can attain 350,000 in the next 30 days, are you planning on listing your home still? And, well, yeah, we'd sell it. Okay, great. We need to get together tonight at 6 and set the appointment, go to the appointment, send a pre-listing package, and just get it done.
Yep. Love it, man. And it's such a, I think, again, people just have these stories in their head and they overcomplicate everything. It's right. Not some, insane, I mean, it's just a bottom line up front, straight to the point script, that gets results, dude, right? So,
it's the same script, man. Same script since year one.
Yep. So then, which is the Mike Ferry script that, again, that's online that you learned. When you door knock, dude, because I know you're really into the really nice flyers with expired, is something very similar to that, or because it's an expired and it becomes different than a just sold because you have a picture of the house. Right. What's delivered there?
So our expired and our for sale by owner flyers are just a generic flyer. It says we've sold X amount of homes in 2017. How can you help us reach our goal in 2016, 2017, our goal for 17? And it shows like the one we have now is about 20 houses that we've sold. And then it has like a red bar across it that says sold. And then that same paragraph, little bio about our team is on the bottom, and it's just got our name and number. Super simple, really high glossy paper that we just leave at the door for sale by owners and expireds if they're not home.
Now, do you find that you get a decent amount of calls back from those flyers, or do you feel it just helps with the credibility with the follow-up calls?
It helps with the credibility with the follow-up calls. We do. I mean, I've taken, like I said, it's a numbers game. For every, probably 20 or 30 that we drop off, we'll get nothing. But like last week, I just got a call. Hey, you dropped off a flyer on my door about 6 months ago. And I'm just like, wow, I was talking to a buddy of mine about it. Like 6 months ago, I dropped off a flyer and they just called me to list their house. Yeah. And I don't know this person at all. Yeah. So, and set the appointment. So it's the credibility in the follow-up. You said it right there. I was kind of waiting to really approach that because it's a big subject, because the fortune really is in the follow-up. You don't get a lot of listing appointments that first time you call. I wish I could call an expired or for sale by owner and just immediately set the appointment and I'm there and I list the house and it's perfect. It happens, but that's not how it happens every time.
Yeah. It's something like 10% of expireds are already relisted immediately, but 90%, it's like 3 to 6 months for the already relisted. They may have the same goals, but it's like, dude, I'm sick and tired of making my bed every day. I'm sick and tired. Like I need a timeout. I need a break, a breather. So like you said, that fortune, the follow up. So that being said, man, what does that follow up then look like? Whether you get them if you get them on the phone, you can kind of identify what their goals are, and then you probably make a best judgment call. But if you don't get them on, how often are you following up and frequently after that?
So what we do, if they're not answering the phone, they just get pushed out about 14 days. So if they do answer the phone, it's typically what they say. Well, yeah, we're going to list our house next month, or we're going to list our house come May. So we'll stick them in the May section. And then, when that day comes up in May, we open it up and that's when we call them in May. So it's really what they're kind of saying on the phone. But for people who aren't answering, they get stuck out 14 days. If they don't answer 3 times in a row, it's just trash.
Okay. So it's day 1, day 14, day 28, trash.
Right.
Okay, so then, dude, I know one thing that you've been really growing on, and now that you're, going on your 4th year in the business, you're probably seeing a lot of this starting to really play out, but is that repeat business and referral business. Well, we know most agents go massively wrong. It's something like 88% of buyers and stuff said they'd love their agent, would use them again. Only 11% ever do a repeat transaction. Outside of delivering an amazing experience, which isn't enough, that's just kind of the ante. What are you doing after the fact to stay in touch with them to get all that referral and repeat business that you're getting?
It's very simple, just calling them. So we call them every single quarter and stay in touch with them, call our past clients. What we're doing now that I actually got off a podcast that I was listening to is right when I take a client, buyer, or seller, I add them on Facebook immediately. So that is, I obviously have to watch what you post on Facebook. You can't be at the river out drinking, partying something and post that, anymore. But I've seen a huge result in that alone. Because it's like almost like a built-in follow-up system that you're on every day anyways. Yep. So it really works well. And then it's literally just simply calling them every quarter and just, hey, it's Christian Stone. How are you doing? I'm just calling to check in. How's the house? How's the kids? How's school? Just make a little note about who they are, who they're married to in your folder, however you keep your leads. We just keep it in a generic, all of our clients, our database, my leads, everything is paper. So it's not even on a CRM, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I said, just as simple as I could possibly make it to where I know between 1 to 2 in the afternoon, this is what I have to do. Between 2 to 5, this is what I have to do. Between 6 and 7, this is what I have to do. Yeah. That's how it's going to just grow. And then, like you said, we track it, right? And it's going to, okay, so now we know how to make it double each year. So.
Yeah, no, I love it, man. It's like Einstein said, make it as simple as possible, but not simpler, right? And people just overcomplicate so much crap. And at the end of the day, it's not that difficult, right? I mean, yeah, it's difficult getting your ass out of bed every day sometimes when you don't feel like doing this, you know, right? It's difficult controlling this, but the process can be very simplistic. So, I know one thing that, you guys do a brilliant job at as well is delivering great customer service throughout the transaction. And you really have incorporated technology, not to replace the relationship, but to enhance it and with that. So kind of walk us through it and how you're incorporating technology to enhance that experience.
Okay. So kind of what we're doing as far as the technology goes is, like I said, we do the professional photography for each listing we take. It's just no matter what, it's a huge part of customer service for us. Typically anything over 200,000 gets a video done for their home. So a full walkthrough video, and then not just like a slideshow of pictures, but an actual video. And then we maintain that with, everybody's heard of Zillow. So if you're a featured agent on Zillow, it has a link where you put in your client's email, and it emails them every single week about how many people have looked at their home, how many people clicked it, and how many people saved it. And I see my clients calling and they're like, hey, we saw that 15 people saved our home this week. Do you think that that's a good amount? And they're actually calling me for price reductions. So that works really well. And then beyond that, it's every single Tuesday and Friday. Everybody on my team, myself, my administrative staff is all notified to call them and give them an update. So they get an update. I have clients tell me all the time, hey, you don't need to call me on Friday. It's fine. I know what's going on. Because we call them too much, basically. So that's honestly as simple as it is as far as the technology part goes.
So with Zillow, man, like, because I've it's been a lot of years since I've been on Zillow. With that feature, dude, because that's a really cool feature, man. Do you have to be? Is it just in the area that you're featured on, or once you're featured, like, let's just say I went out there and bought the cheapest zip code I could to get featured or whatever, does it then automatically do that for every listing I have, regardless of where it's at in the county?
Yeah. So it's for any listing you could possibly take. As far as that, I believe you do have to be a premier agent to do it. I think you can sign up to be a premier agent for real cheap, like $50 a month.
Wow.
But this is just something we've implemented since May of last year. I mean, my first 1, 2, and half of my third year, we never spent any money on this sort of thing. We're just starting to do it now because basically the tax guy is like, hey, you need to start spending some money.
Yeah. No, I love that, man. So what do you because, I mean, you've had a lot of success, right? I mean, from day one, even when you were part-time, dude, I mean, you're having more success than most, full-time, full-force agents are at it with that. But let's talk about, some of the obstacles that you've had to overcome, and I hate the word failure because we don't necessarily learn when we're succeeding. We learn, when we face those obstacles, right? And it's really not failing. It's a growth moment for us. What have been some of those obstacles that you've come amongst that you've had to overcome that have been great growth moments in these last 3.5, 4 years?
I mean, a big thing for me was halfway through my second year, I had signed up for this thing where you paid $2,500 a month and it marketed for you. You posted on Facebook, Instagram, social media. It sent out all this crap. I never got one deal from that. And that kind of sealed the deal for me of I'm done. I would never spend a bunch of money on marketing. I gotta work for my business to grow. I was after my first year of working a lot, I was like, oh, maybe I could slow down a little bit, pay something else. It didn't work out for us. So that was one thing that set in stone that I need to work to have a successful business as of right now. The first, I think they say 5 to 7 years of actually putting in the sweat equity to build a big solid foundation. And then halfway through, as well as January, February of last year, so my third year, I started a team that I don't even have now, and it was kind of hire before I had the business, right? So that's where I screwed up big time. They both went away. It only lasted maybe 2 or 3 months, and it kind of just it faded away because I didn't have the business to support them, and they weren't doing what I was telling them to do, and I was having to try and buy leads to support them, which to me, it didn't work. I know some people do it extremely successful. So to me, that didn't work, and I decided, okay, I'm never going to start a team until I have so much business that I can't handle it. Yep. So it really taught me, because it's kind of an emotional thing when you bring people on and you think that, they're under you, they're part of what you do, and then they go away,
Yeah. Yeah, no, it is, man. And I've been running a team. I'm going my 12th year in this business, and it is, nice. Man. It can be an emotional roller coaster, man. It's right. It's tough, dude. But I also agree with you, because I've ran so many models. I mean, I'm like you now today. Well, we're 100% straight prospecting. I mean, I have an inside sales agent in a department, and it's kind of its own department. But we only have a few agents that's on that. The rest of my agents, I mean, it's all prospecting based. And even when I was supplying leads, and I find this to hold true with all my top producer friends that I stay in great touch with that are, mega producers, it's almost more of a psychological thing, right? You still have to teach your agents to go out there and prospect and not be reliant on those leads. So I think your model is brilliant and the absolute way to do it. Dude, like with all this growth that you've experienced and that you continue to experience, like where do you want to take this, man? Like, where do you see yourself taking this?
Honestly, I want to see my team functioning to where both my agents are making easily $120,000 a year. That's just their bottom wage, and then whatever else is above that is up to how hard they want to work. And then it's basically, we get to a point now we have these new systems in place that are like almost like a checklist for each transaction. It gets to the point where we're perfect at that, and everything is just seamless and perfect. And then after that, I want to start transitioning into coaching myself. So I see myself becoming kind of like a full-time coach or mentor sort of thing.
Like to your agents, or in the industry, or a combination of both?
In the industry and to my agents. I don't think I ever want to own one of these big teams that has 5, 10, 15, 20 agents that are all working under me. I don't think that I would want to do that. Brokerage right now, it's kind of not for me, too much liabilities. Yeah. But I really would like to see us to where we're just all working great together and doing 200, 250 deals a year as a 3 to 4 person team, which is totally easily obtainable if we're all doing the same thing every day and it's running smoothly, right?
Yep.
That's where I'd want to see the team, and then start transitioning into one-on-one coaching with other agents, not necessarily new agents, but agents who, like you said, who have kind of plateaued but want to take it to the next level again. So doing like a one-on-one coaching program with them, things like that.
Yeah, no, I think, yeah, man, I think that's a good idea. I mean, dude, obviously, and everybody can tell watching this, I mean, you're in the trenches, proving what you do, right? So you're not just like this quote unquote guru that just came out of nowhere, that's never sold a damn house, that's, claiming to be able to teach people how to sell houses, which those exist massively in our industry. But dude, you definitely, you're such a just open book, transparent guy. So I love that. And then the other cool thing too is for you, like you see the impact that coaching's had for you. And one of my coaches, Darren Hardy, who's my main coach right now.
Awesome.
Yeah, but he's just amazing, right? And he came out, he dropped a statistic the other day. Now this is entrepreneurship wide, but I'm pretty sure it probably holds true to every industry. But only 5% of entrepreneurs will ever invest in any type of self-development. That's courses, one-on-one coaching, right? It's these people struggle, but look at you, man. You went to one conference out of the gate. Luckily, you had that friend, that mentor that helped you with that. So with that being said, man, how much of your success that you've been out there, go out there and create, do you attribute to coaching and training?
I'll be honest with you, 100% of my success was okay, 95%, 5% working my ass off. Um, it honestly, from that mentor perspective, my whole first year with my old partner was he was mentoring me. He was telling me, go to this coaching program, do this, and just do what they say, right? And then I actually hired a full-time coach, which is a big step. You know, it's $1,000 a month to have a coach, and that's cheap. I have some people I know paying 5 to 10,000 a month to have a coach,
Yeah.
and without them, I talk to my coach all the time, basically every other day. Without that extra person telling you, hey, this piece is wrong or this piece is wrong, it's so hard to screw up or not realize the path that you're on. So coaching is huge. Every single professional or somebody succeeding at a high limit, you talk to them, they always have a coach or a mentor. They always have somebody else watching over them, basically.
Yeah, yeah, no, and again, I couldn't agree more, man. I mean, I have a coach in every aspect of my life, dude. You know, right? I mean, there's really not something that I'm not coaching. I couldn't agree more, man. Are you still with Mike Ferry's organization?
Yep, I'm still with the same coach I've had since I signed up with coaching. I'm actually looking at other, like you said, life coaching. So a coach on the background side that's not necessarily business, but as a life coach, as kind of an investor coach, and then obviously personal training, things like that, that sort of coaching. Like you said, you should have a coach for everything. It's crazy to think that everybody thinks they could do it on their own, but it's really impossible.
Yeah. Yep, love it, man. So outside of your direct coaching that you're doing, how important is other types of self development for you? I mean, are you into self development? I mean, do you find yourself reading books and listen? I know you talked about listening to a podcast earlier, but
Yep.
how important is overall self development to you?
Huge to me. I just gave a good friend of mine who owns a clothing company, and his company is doubling and seeing high volumes of growth. So I just gave him a book today. Actually, it's called The Miracle Morning
Yep.
by Hal Elrod. I read that book my second year in real estate, and that probably, because of that book right there, was another a leap that I accredit it to, because getting up early in the morning and doing my affirmations, my vision board, my actual I write down all of my goals every single morning, then write them again at night. Just that one simple step allows you to see your future, to create your future. So I think that's another vital key that everybody should do every day.
Yeah, yeah, love it, man, love it, dude. So, if you could go back, right, like the day that you got your real estate license, if you could go back knowing everything that you know right now, having the successes that you've had, the obstacles you've had to overcome, if you could go back and give yourself like two pieces of advice that would help advance you that much quicker, what would that look like?
Let's see. I would have said get a credit card and bought a dialer as soon as possible, because I remember dialing so many numbers on my cell phone that my thumb would hurt at the end of the day. I'm serious, man. It would be like I'm like rubbing my thumb right now like this, because I remember that pain just from dialing the numbers, right? So definitely if you don't have the money now, I pay $199 a month, and I'm on a triple dialer. So both of my buyer's agents both have their own dialer, and I have my dialer that has for sale by owners and expired. It's preloaded into it every single day for $199. So you can get a credit card and put it on a credit card right away. You could do that tomorrow, and then definitely sign up for coaching a lot sooner than I did.
Yeah. Love it, man. So that the name of that dialer again, that's Arch. What'd you say? Arch Telecom?
Arch Agent.
Arch Agent. Okay.
Yep.
Awesome, man. Yeah, I love that, dude. All right, bro. So, I started this podcast, dude, because there's so much information out there, right? And there's a lot of good information, but holy crap, is there a lot of bad information? And
Right.
I wanted to create a place where we went out there and just interview the doers, guys like yourself that are out there in the trenches. There's no theory here; it's straight up strategy, and go out there and again deliver that information to our audience on a selfish level. It's my self development. I got to pick brilliant minds like yours every single day, but they
Right.
go out there and also give back to an industry that's changed my life. So those that are watching or listening right now are here, dude, because they want to go out there and create an amazing, successful, epic life themselves. So do you have any last words of inspiration or advice that you'd like to leave them with in order so they can go do just that?
Yeah. Honestly, I tell everybody, you'd said it too. Don't prepare to get prepared. You know, if you want to know, you want to do more business in real estate, you could go online right now, do a free flyer, and go door knock 100 doors today. It will take an hour, and you'll be the same person as you were when you first started. People will say no, yes, but be prepared. You know, you can get a dialer, you can start doing that tomorrow, and people will say no, but you'll get better and better. You just have to keep at it every single day.
Yep, I love it. Powerful words, man. And lastly, Christian, where's the best place, dude, to go learn more about you, get in touch with you, learn more about your company? Hell, I know you haven't started coaching yet, but if somebody's like, hey, man, I want this dude to coach me on this, you know, who knows what that looks like, man? Where's the best place for people to find out more about you and reach out to you?
Honestly, I'm getting a lot of traction on Instagram. I'm really building that Instagram and Facebook, man, social media. So you could look me up, Christian_Stone_realtor on Instagram, and it's the same thing on Facebook, Christian Stone Realtor.
Yeah, badass. Love it, man. Love it. So those that are watching and listening, you guys, I know in every podcast with this, but information without implementation is truly just the start of delusion. Information is no longer power. There's an abundance of information out there, but unless you take action on it, it's not going to create the power that you want inside your world. So Christian literally just kind of gave you guys this whole entire playbook today, right? He unloaded so much damn information. I think as much or not more than any guest that we've ever had. So take something that you've learned today from Christian, you guys. These are epic, amazing strategies. Take something that you learned today, go out there and implement it immediately in your business so you can create the life you know you want and deserve. And Christian, man, truly appreciate taking time out of your busy day to be here. This has been an honor. And you know, dude, I just commend you for everything that you're doing, man, the success that you've created, and also, man, for being so giving. You know, a lot of people operate from the scarcity mindset and are like, oh, I can't share this stuff because, you know, for whatever reason, man, and the just the abundance mindset that you have, man, I truly commend and appreciate you for it.
Yeah, there's plenty of business for us all, man. There really is.
Yep, 100%. All right, you guys, well, thank you again, and we will see you next time. All right, peeps, that wraps up today's show. Again, thank you so much for watching the show. I truly appreciate it. Just a few quick reminders and favors that I need from you. Number one, please share the show. Anyone you feel can benefit from this show. This truly helps us grow the show, continue going out there and having impacts on many, many lives. So it'd mean the world to me if you went out there and shared the show. Number two, if you haven't done so already, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, please go out there on iTunes, Stitcher, leave us a 5-star positive review. All that stuff helps for awareness of the show. Also, make sure to join the GSD Mode private Facebook mastermind group. If you haven't already, you can go to gsdmode.com. Right on the front page, there's a link there. Click that. We'll get you added right away. A lot of cool stuff in there, a lot of masterminds. We're bringing a lot of Facebook Live, different stuff in there they have access to that you can't get anywhere else. And lastly, I want to give our sponsors a quick shout out that make this show possible. So our first sponsor is my personal 90-day mastery bootcamp. This is my personal mentorship training program where I give you everything that I do inside my business, right? You get my entire playbook. We have 12 live, 3+ hour long training sessions. You get daily access to me inside the program. There's a bunch of bonus training sessions. You get access to every single thing that I do inside my business. All my tracking forms, all my presentations, checklists, lead generation tactics, lead follow-up tactics, team contracts, and so much more, you guys. There's nothing that compares to this program. You get full access to everything that I do inside my company. I hold nothing back. Go check us out, www.90daymastery.com, where you can learn more information, see future dates, see testimonials, all that fun shite. If you decide to join, make sure to plug in Live Mastery inside the promo code, all one word, all together, all caps. That'll save you 500 bones on the program. So you get it for only $997, which is a freaking steal, or 3 payments of $333. Our next sponsor is PerfectStormNow.com. So PerfectStormNow.com is an insanely effective lead generation website for realtors, and now offers a website and CRM combo with all my custom personal follow-up drips, all of my scripts that are inside there, right? So there's no guesswork. And when a lead comes in, based on the lead source, you're gonna know exactly what to say, when to say, how to say. All of it's just auto-filled, and we made it where it's dummy-proof. I mean, this system is as powerful, if not more powerful, in my opinion, than the $1,000 plus monthly websites, and it's only $199 a month. So go to PerfectStormNow.com. You can check out in-depth demos, see more testimonials, learn more information on it, all that cool jazz. Our last sponsor is EMF. So Optimized Life Nutrition has created the most powerful nootropic on the planet called EMF, Energy, Memory, Focus. So if you're like me and you want insane energy, improved memory, an extremely intense focus, this is the best product that money can buy, you guys. I personally take it every single day before I do webinars, before I do things like this, man. I'm always taking this product to go out there and enhance, again, my focus, my intensity, my memory, every aspect of it. So go out there and check right now on www.optimizedlifenutrition.com where you can learn more about EMF. Lastly, you guys, if you want to be like me and the rest of the GSD crew, as well as my real estate team and so many others that listen to this, listen to the show and support the show, make sure you're rocking this GSD Mode gear, man. We want to go out there and spread the love, spread the word, spread the GSD Mode name. So on the site, gsdmode.com, we have men's shirts, women's shirts. We're starting to run a lot new apparel through the site, so you see a lot more coming as well. So make sure to go check out the site, pick that up, have some fun. Thank you again for watching, and we'll see you next time. Peace out.